Hello everyone, welcome into my craft space. It's a little messy today, but we're gonna make it work. And today I have been kind of hoarding these cans, and much to my family's dismay, they're like, what is this? But I do have a plan for them. There is a method to my madness, and I'm gonna share it with you today. What you need for this is to just collect some cans. I know not everybody drinks energy drinks. You don't have to drink these to acquire them. Ask around, ask your friends. Watch for cans that have really pretty things on them or really pretty coloring. Like this one, I really liked this kind of speckling. And there's this one, kind of has this weird like webbing pattern on it. Couple things that I do with cans that I save. Well, there's three things actually. I harvest the tabs, especially on these energy drink ones. They are always fun colors. So the easiest way for me to do that, I turn it like this, and then I just pop it off. I do it that way because I try to keep this little tab part, and then you can use this in your crafting. You can attach brads through here. These can be little actual tabs in your book, even though they're called soda tabs. You can use them as closures. You can use them to hang charms. Lots of fun little things. So that's one way to acquire some extra fun recycling junk. And you want to make sure, I guess I should have started with a little disclaimer. You want to make sure that you're really careful because these edges here are really sharp, and it is metal. Even though it is thin metal, it's still metal and can cut you for sure. So some of the other things that I do with this is I cut these shapes out and I use them in my crafting. And then another thing I do is I will, like with this one, my plan is to cut like a little strip here and then use my die cutter and make some fun shapes out of this. Probably gears because I'm working on steampunk right now. So you need some good scissors. I use these tonic ones. You can use kitchen shears as well. You just want to make sure that it's one, not your fabric scissors. I know a lot of you just want, eek, not the fabric scissors. And not one that you use to cut a lot of sticky tape because you don't want it to be sticky. You want them to be nice and sharp and cut through. Aluminum is not very thick, and it does cut easily, but it's nice to have some good scissors. You could also use an X-Acto knife if you really wanted to. Sometimes I will if I'm trying to get like a very specific shape, but usually I just stick to the scissors. It's safer for my fingers. And with limited visual field, the scissors seem to be safer for me anyways. Another thing you want to do with these is make sure you rinse them out really good. If you're not sure if you did that, you can just start cutting, and then with the pieces you want, you can kind of wipe those with a baby wipe or some running water. Most of these drinks are sugary drinks, so there is sugar or leftovers of the drink or the soda or whatever it is that you are acquiring them from. So I think what I'm gonna do, it's kind of noisy when you cut these, so you want to make sure you're in the time of day at your house that's okay to be noisy. And I think what I'm gonna do is I am just going to put you guys on fast forward and let you watch me cut, and then we'll come back together and see what we can do with all of these fun cuts. Okay, so now that these are cut out, or at least loosely cut out, some things I wanted to point out. One, you can see how jaggedy the edges get, so just be mindful of that. I've got my baby wipe out. I'm gonna just kind of, some things I cut out for the pattern side, which I have to say mostly I do for the designs that are on there, but you can also cut it out for this side as well and use this to die cut shapes out of or whatever. You'll see almost all of it has a rounded curve to it. It's the best way to show you, maybe like this. So it's rounded because the can was round. So it can be flattened out. You just have to work with it a little bit. When you're wiping these, still be real careful because sometimes, like just happened, the little piece of the jaggedy edge comes out. This one, I have plans for this little scrolly part because it talks about Dia de los Muertos. But I don't want this piece down here. That starts talking about the drink. So we'll just snip that piece out. I keep a recycler or garbage bin nearby when I'm cutting these because the pieces you don't want laying around. They are kind of sharp. You can still recycle the remaining cans, but just remember it is sharp when you put it in a bag or a bin. So these monster cans are super pretty. They're some of my favorite. And like I said, if you don't actually drink these drinks yourself, ask around. I bet you'll find some of your friends do, and they might even save the cans for you. It's a great way to recycle. Another way to add the junk element in our journals. Fun way to make ephemera. What's cool is like with these, with this like larger design, like this skeleton here, you could cut it out and put it on a tag. I would always put something on the back just because these edges are really sharp, and having some paper edging around will definitely help savor your fingers, but you can make a little dangle out of it. The sky's the limit when you have these. You can put them on pages, you can put them on some ATCs. Like I said, you can also run this metal through a die cutter. You want to make sure that you have the right kind of dies for that, meaning that I don't know because I've never tried it. I have the Biggs dies from COPIC, and those are usually the ones I cut with metal. I don't think you're supposed to use the thin dies with this thin metal. I could be wrong, but I don't know. And if you don't know, you can check your manufacturer's website of your die cuts, or look in the die cut instruction sheet. Usually it will tell you the thickness of the materials that it is designed to cut. And you really do want to pay attention to that. I know sometimes I'm a little bit of a rebel and break the rules, but you don't want to break your dies. For me, I consider them an investment and a collection, and I'm really proud of the ones that I have, and I don't want to ruin them. You could also ruin your cutter if you put the wrong mediums through there. So just pay attention to the thickness and the grade and what dies you're using. I plan to use the COPIC big dies, and they are designed to cut through a lot of thicker things. So usually now what I do is I just go around and I kind of cut around the edges of the things that I want to keep. These ones I'm thinking will make some great little page decoration, just like a little piece of ephemera, because they've got these butterflies. And some of the ways I might attach these is I might poke some holes. Your crocodile will definitely poke holes in these. So sometimes I might leave a little room here and put an eyelet and put it on the page like that. This one, when I was cutting, the scissors helped me get a little carried away here, but that's okay. Usually you can kind of glue this back together Another thing to consider is if you're using hot glue with this, it is metal and hot glue will make the metal hot. So be aware of where you're putting your fingers compared to where you're putting the glue. You might also use a glue like the E6000 or tacky glue or what have you. It will be just fine. I don't think like the pop dots or whatever, I don't think those will hold it for any length of time, especially if you're keeping it. This isn't really a medium that you want to keep raised because you don't want fingers touching this edge. It does get a little sharp. You can sand it if you want to. I'm sure you could probably use a paper distresser on the side. That'd be a terrible noise, so we're not going to do that. I don't usually do that. I just kind of be mindful of where I'm putting it. And see, like this edge is kind of torn. I might even cut that one out. I don't know. But otherwise, you can just glue it down really snug to the page, and it provides a really pretty print. Okay, so now we'll show you die cutting. I use an e-bosser die cutting machine. I've made videos on that before if you're interested in watching those. Basically, I'm just going to use this instead of the paper or chipboard or whatever, and I will make a sandwich. So I'll have one of my plates, then I'll have the die cut, then I'll have this, and then I'll have another plate, and we'll run it through. And you'll see just how easy it is to cut. Where was that plain one? Nope. This one. So I was going to cut shapes out of these ones. I think these ones, I was just liking the patterns that were on there. Seeing like these edges, be really careful with those laying around. I try to get my edge pieces put away real quickly because I have cats and a puppy roaming around in here. And that would be horrible for them to swallow. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get these ready to die cut. And I'll let you guys see that process. Again, I use the e-bosser for my die cutter. It's there's so many different manual die cutters out there. I don't have to crank, it is powered. And it just goes through. I don't think they're making that one anymore, but there are several on the market like it. So, okay, let me get this stuff through the die cutter, and we'll see where it goes from there. Okay, so here is my e-bosser and my C plate. I'm going to apologize for the lighting and the recording of this one, but I did just want you guys to see how it works. I've cut a lot of other mediums before, plastic from plastic bottles, chipboard, cardboard, and then I do these cans as well. So I'm going to make a sandwich. I've got my Tim Holtz Gadget Gears Biggs die here. And usually what I do is I will lay this die down. And then carefully place this stuff over where I want it. This one's just a really tiny piece, so I'm just going to go ahead and place it like right there. And then this one, I might wind up doing more of the tiny ones than anything, just based on the size of the medium that I have. So you can easily layer these up. I don't like to, because I like to make sure I get a good sandwich going here. This is my A plate of the e-bosser, and I'm just going to squish it down like this. Then I'll push the power on down here. And again, I apologize if you guys can't see. I don't have the best tripod over here at my cutting station anymore. But it just literally goes through like this. A little noisy, sorry about that. Here it comes. Okay, and And so then when it comes out, it has done some cutting. And so this one is just a partial piece because of the size of the metal, and I'm okay with that. Now again, you want to make sure you're really careful with these little tiny metal slivery pieces. Especially if you have little kids or pets or bare feet around, it will do some damage. So I try to gather them all up and toss them out. So this one wasn't the best size because it didn't cut out the whole die. But I usually do a lot of layering and tucking, and so that's okay for me. So this one I'm probably just going to place here. And then those really cool Coke ones that have the spiraling in the background, we'll do one here. And then maybe one over here. And we'll run it through again and see what we get. Let's see, throw these away. And put the A plate back on. And back through it goes. Another thing you can do with this metal is some of your punches, if they need sharpened, you can punch some holes out of this and it will sharpen it. Some people just use aluminum foil for that, but this is aluminum, so another good thing to do there. Okay, pick off those little pieces, make sure I know where they are. All right, so this one turned out looking like this. How cool is that? It's got all those designs on it. Or you could just use the back side and have it be just the metal. This one didn't punch so good because I layered it. There we go, got it. This is the whole sprocket there. So again, we have kind of this fun side or just the metal side. You could use the negative space of this as well, like glue this down as a background behind something. And then I usually keep these little pieces because you can tuck them in, and it makes it look like it's just more interesting. Make sure you clean these little metal bits off your die. And what did we get out of this one? Oop. Just a little piece there, and this just pulls apart. So just like that. You can use your alcohol inks on these. You can do all kinds of great things with these. So I think I'm going to cut this video short here. And then in the next couple of videos, I'm going to be using some of these pieces. And you guys can see what I personally do with them. But for now, this just shows you guys how to harvest some shapes and fun stuff from another journal junk medium. I plan to make some great ephemera with this, and again, I'll be using it in the next few videos, so stay tuned. Please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and leave the comments and let me know what you guys use your cans for, or if there is some other cans that have some really great designs that I haven't mentioned already. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.